Rolling into our weekend with a much better weather forecast playing out throughout central and eastern Kentucky. I'm finally the bearer of better news when I come back in a moment.
It's been a long and difficult 48 hours, but road crews from the city of Nicholasville are nearly done cleaning up.
About fraudulent tax return, claimed that $1,000 student credit, and they requested the IRS do a split refund.
Tax time means scam time. We'll tell you how to spot a tax return scam that could easily entrap you. That's coming up.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening to you. Another record-setting winter day in the Bluegrass. Many areas hit record lows this morning, and we even recorded the coldest March temperature ever in the state.
Well, a lot has happened, and that comes after a record-setting snowfall yesterday. Let's take a look at the snow today at Rupp Arena from Sky First. Get a good look at it because it's melting, and soon. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey's tracking a warm-up in the forecast, and overdue.
Yeah, long overdue. But remember, the term warm-up is all relative to exactly where we've been. And we've been bitterly cold out there today, so anything's going to technically qualify for that. Little look outside. How about a frigid Friday afternoon that is now transitioning into a frigid Friday evening? Deep snowpack still in place out there in most areas. We've got the blue sky over top of us, 24 degrees right now. Winds are coming at us from the south, and that's giving us a wind chill down to 15 degrees. Record cold this morning in Lexington, 2 below zero. The old record, well, it's still the record. We just tied it this morning. That's also the coldest thermometer reading ever for the city of Lexington for the month of March. Some areas hit 10 to 16 below zero across Kentucky this morning. So you had what basically amounted to the coldest March morning on record for the Bluegrass State. 24 Lexington, you can really see where the heart of the snowpack is with those temperatures down into the 20s. Southern Kentucky, not as much snow, allowing temperatures to head toward 30 degrees. Live First Alert Defender looking good because I got nothing on it to show you. Better weekend weather. Temperatures on the increase. Rain chances begin to increase a little bit as we go into next week. Guys, I'll break down the 7-day forecast for you when I come back in just a shade under 15 minutes.
Some people say this is the worst winter they've ever seen. It's been a busy winter for road crews in Nicholasville, especially the last few weeks.
Yeah, many drivers have been plowing and salting the roads nonstop since Wednesday. Mike Linden is in Nicholasville with a look at how big of a hit the city's salt supply has taken this winter. It's our top story at 5:30.
Following a historic winter storm that covered the Bluegrass State in snow, for some business owners in Nicholasville, the near foot of snow is just another setback.
It's a couple hours of shoveling before we could even do anything else. And we had a water pipe bust a couple weeks ago, and that took 2-3 days fixing that. So it sure takes away from doing what we normally do.
City road crews have been hard at work cleaning the roads too.
We've got 5 plows, and we've been going 24 hours the first night, and took about 4 hours off and came right back and been going and still going, hitting secondary streets now.
After starting the season with 600 tons of road salt, here at the city of Nicholasville Salt Barn, they have about 50 left. They've used about 3 to 4 times as much salt than they normally would over the course of a winter season.
A total of 7 drivers are responsible for cleaning approximately 115 miles of city roads of ice and snow. Mayor Sutherland says he's thankful Jessamine County only saw snow out of Thursday's historic storm.
We didn't have a lot of ice here. The ice storms are the ones when they start pulling power lines down and people lose power and they don't have heat. Those become real emergencies.
In Nicholasville, Mike Linden, WKYT.
Mayor Sutherland tells us all side roads and cul-de-sacs should be plowed by the end of the day today. Well, here in Lexington, Mayor Jim Gray said the city is making progress when it comes to clearing the streets. In a news conference this afternoon, Mayor Gray says that road crews are now focusing on clearing the side streets around town. He also says trash pickup is still canceled for tomorrow, but it will resume on Monday. Businesses and homeowners are encouraged to clean off their sidewalks. There is a fine of $25, but no fines have been issued.
And for some people, it's not snow causing problems on the roads. High water is covering some of the roadways in Powell County. The Red River there is above flood stage, forcing some evacuations. We have video from Sky First of the flooding in Clay City, and that's where Victor Puente is, continuing our weather team coverage. He's talking to people forced out of their homes because of all that water.
The water on this road has been receding all day, but being so close to the Red River, it's still undrivable. Still, it has come down a lot. If I had been standing in this spot around 10 o'clock last night, that water would have been above my waist. Roads weren't the only thing impacted when the water began to rise in Clay City last night.
It was all the way up on my first step, and then the fireman came and told me that we had to evacuate.
Tina Roseberry said she knew the water was high. She didn't realize how high until firefighters came and got her and her family. They went to her mother's to wait out the flood.
It covered that whole van that's sitting out in the yard now.
Roads across the county were closed. Even now, some people are trying to make it across Pompey Road despite the high water. Roseberry was almost moved to tears when she talked about leaving her home. She was able to come back after the water level began going down around 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I thought everything I had to get hurt.
She says she's used to this area flooding, but it hasn't been this high since she's lived here.
Well, we seen it years ago, but I never think I'd seen it again like this.
I spoke to a man who told me he spent yesterday putting all of his furniture up on milk cartons in anticipation of that flood. It came close to his home but never made it in, so he told me today he'll do some spring cleaning before putting it all back down on the floor. In Powell County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Also, there were some people who firefighters tried to evacuate who refused to leave their homes. In eastern Kentucky, it's not snow that crews in Harlan County are trying to get off the roads. Downtown Lynch is covered in mud and rocks after a mudslide. City officials tell us that water from an abandoned mine stopped up a culvert, and that caused the slide. They say the road buckled and the sidewalk is gone.
Flooding has damaged an eastern Kentucky man's long-running operation of delivering toys to thousands of children each Christmas. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Harlan County. The flooding from the Cumberland River seeped into Jim Muggins Bennett's, where he keeps the toys for next Christmas. He says hundreds of toys were destroyed. Bennett and his wife have been delivering toys and food boxes for more than 30 years in that area. In Madison County, a semi-truck crash has shut down part of Interstate 75. State police say the semi went off the road near the 83-mile marker. They say the semi was hauling 35,000 pounds of charcoal. The two right northbound lanes have been shut down while crews clean up the wreck. There's no word on any injuries. And in Laurel County, a man is in jail after deputies say they tried to stab an officer. Deputies say they were tipped off about a man armed with a knife locked in a bathroom in a home on Oak Ridge Church Road in Corbin. When deputies arrived, 32-year-old John Hart ran from the house. Deputies chased Hart until he tripped in the snow and tried to fight the officers off. Hart faces several charges in Laurel County and in Knox County.
It's that time of year when all of us are filing our tax returns, but it's also the time of year when con artists come up with a way to beat the system. It's tax time, which also means it may also be scam time.
They took the identities, basically names, social security numbers of real people, and without those people's knowledge, they filed fraudulent tax refunds.
In every case, the suspects claimed to be a student and applied for a $1,000 tax credit.
It was irrespective of whether the person was 85 years old and hadn't been to school since they were in high school, or whether the person was 22 years old and was in college.
Then suspects began cold calling victims, telling them they were entitled to a $500 refund. All they had to do was supply their personal information, and they did.
They filed a fraudulent tax return, claimed that $1,000 student credit, and they requested the IRS do a split refund. And they would have the IRS issue a $500 check to the victim. Then they would have the IRS issue $500 to them.
This is why the scheme worked and grew so quickly. Victims actually received a $500 check.
This scheme really spread like wildfire because not only do you have a sort of a plausible explanation that there's this stimulus money that's available, all you got to do is, submit for it, but they're actually paying out on it.
Postal inspectors are still investigating the case, but they do know 15,000 false returns were filed, and there were more than $19 million in losses. Victims didn't realize they were scammed until they filed their tax return.
I've had victims that told me that they were evicted from their home because they didn't get the refund that they expected.
3 people were arrested for starting the scheme. Inspectors were shocked to discover all the money was gone.
Most of the money actually just went into lifestyle. It's not their money, so they didn't have to be frugal with it. It's just, most of it's just gone.
The most important takeaway from this story, always protect your personal information.
If the government's giving out a stimulus, they know your name, they know your social security number, you will be contacted.
The 3 people involved in this case are all serving between 3 and 20 years in federal prison.
Believe it or not, we are less than a month away from Keeneland's spring meet. Still ahead on WKYT News at 5:30, why Keeneland is already thinking spring.
I'm Bill Bryant. Lexington Mayor Jim Gray says the city has to strike a balance on the cost of snow removal, and the legislature returns to Frankfort next week with some issues still in the balance. The bottom line is ahead.
And what a nightmare. Hundreds of drivers finally reunited with their vehicles after being stranded on Interstate 65. Coming up on WKYT News at 6, why it took so long for crews to clear that interstate.